G'day everyone, welcome to my channel. This is Brushes with Beck. Today's video is about testing out the new set of Derwent Drawing pencils that I got this week. You will have seen in my last video I did an unboxing, first impressions and colour swatching of these pencils, and now this is the first time I am trying out these pencils on a coloured piece, a piece of artwork. So what I'm using here is Canson Mitton's paper. It is a pastel paper. I'm using the reverse side, which is slightly less textured, and only the Derwent Drawing pencils. Now the Derwent Drawing pencils are a wax-based pencil. They are completely light fast, but they only come in a range of 24 colours, but they are a beautiful range of soft muted natural tones. So what I'm doing for this image is I am working how I've worked with my polychromos in the past, is I am doing some light layers and then blending that out with a cotton bud. In my first impressions video, I tried blending out these pencils with a cotton bud, but it was on a smooth paper and it didn't really work that well, but it did work a bit better on this textured paper, which I was quite pleased about because I was worried about that. So I'm just blocking in areas of colour, some of the darks and lights, and just getting some of those tonal values in and mapping out this rabbit that I'm drawing. The photo that I'm referencing from is actually a photo that I took myself maybe 5 or so years ago, but I thought it would be a good one because rabbits have quite a few different browns and greys on them, and it was a lovely backlit photo. So as I said, just layering over the colour gradually. Started with more muted tones and slowly adding more colour over the top. When I'm doing this, I tend to go in the direction of the fur just in case it doesn't blend out properly, because using a cotton bud doesn't blend things out completely. So it's better if you can get it as smooth as possible and in the direction of the fur to begin with, so you get a nicer blend. So going in with some highlights there, with some lighter colours, and just sort of solidifying that the external lines of the rabbit and some of the lighter areas. Sorry about my cat's tail in the footage. She likes to hang out with me. But for these pencils, I found at first I was a bit unsure with using them because I've used the polychromos more, and they are obviously an oil-based pencil and a lot harder. I've only used Prismacolors as a wax-based pencil before, and even those aren't quite as soft as these, I don't think. They're still a little bit different. And I found these Derwent Drawing pencils to be quite a challenge to use. I mean, they were easy to use in the sense that I didn't have any trouble sharpening. I've got them to nice point with no breakage while sharpening and only minimal breakage while putting that fine point to the paper. Only a couple of times I had that issue, whereas other times with the fine point I was able to use that very easily without any breakages. The colour range is beautiful. The layering of the colour works really, really well. The pencils feel great in my hand. I love that they are quite a weighty pencil. That feels nice in my hand. It was just a challenge for me getting used to this really sort of waxy pencil. And also, I think I had trouble with the agouti fur of this rabbit, and I was struggling with, I think, the amount of detail I was trying to fit in on a small piece, and getting the detail in versus implied detail. So I found that at a stage where I thought I was getting close to being done, I wasn't actually close to being done, and it was still in sort of an ugly phase, and I just had to push through and keep going to get it through to where it was much more pleasing. So I didn't just go in, once or twice with the grey or the browns on the back. I went in layer after layer after layer, really trying to build that up and get some depth to it and a richness of colour. And it was really quite a process, but the pencils, the colour lays down very easily. I found blending colours to be quite easy. I was using the cotton bud for blending, so that made it pretty good. I couldn't get it completely smoothed out, but whether that's a result of the textured paper or the wax pencils themselves, I'm not 100% sure. But as you can see, the colours are quite rich, and the lighter colours, at least on this paper, go over the darker ones with a fair amount of ease. I really do think that one of the things I love most about these pencils, like I said before, is the colour palette. Because although, you don't have your bright reds and your bright yellows and your vibrant blues and whatever else, I don't need them. That's not what this set is for me. This is for wildlife. It'd be great for pet portrait people. And I found that because the tones are so natural and muted, I was using greens and blues on this rabbit's fur quite a lot, and using them to complement the browns and the greys, and it turned out beautifully, and it really gave a nice depth to it. I used almost all of the 24 colours on this piece. I think I used about 17 or 18 different colours, including the violet, I think it's Mars Violet or something like that. Absolutely beautiful colours. And they all complement each other really, really well. So I was really impressed with the colour palette. The only thing I might want for is like a dark grey, because you've got the black, and then you've got a warm grey and a cool grey, but both of them were about the same tone or the same value as the colour of this paper. So there wasn't a choice for me to have a dark grey in between. It was just black or nothing, basically. But that's really only a limitation of this this particular colour tone of paper. But as you can see, pushing through this piece and working more, adding more and more layers, and trying to add to that fur texture and really pushing things, it really starts to come together. Because earlier on, you could sort of think, oh, it's almost finished because you've got all that fur detail in, but it wasn't. It still looked a bit bland, a bit basic. So I'm really glad I pushed through with it, because I was really, really struggling and I wasn't sure it was going to work out. I loved doing the ear. I had just the right colours for the ear, which is beautiful because they've included, like I said, that violet colour, and with a bit of blue over the top and some yellows, I was able to get a really beautiful backlit look on that ear with the sun coming through. I'm really pleased with how that turned out. So just working through on these little details, adding to those highlights around the back of the neck, because as I said, this rabbit is backlit in the reference photo. So it probably could have gone darker on the body to really complement that backlighting. But I was fairly pleased with the values as they were. And using that brown there as a wash over the top. Because my reference photo has the tail and the front paw buried in the grass, I didn't really want to attempt those and have them look bad, so I've just popped in a few strands of grass just to make that hidden a little bit. And I think it's turned out quite nicely. So overall, like I said, I really loved using these pencils. It was a bit of a challenge for me at first, getting used to the feeling of them, and I wasn't sure I was liking the way they were laying down on the paper. But as I said, there's that white going over with the whiskers on top of the other colours. It worked beautifully. They layer over really, really well. I didn't really have much trouble blending them on this paper with the cotton bud. And the colour palette, like I said, I love these beautiful muted natural tones. They are really, really versatile, and I know I'm going to be using them a lot. So I cannot, at this stage, I mean it's only one piece, but I cannot compliment these pencils highly enough. Like I said, I sharpen them to a fine point, and they maintain that point well when I was drawing. I didn't have any breakages while I was sharpening, which was fantastic. I love the weight of the pencil, and overall, I can't fault these pencils. I've been wanting to try them for a long time since I found out about them from other artists on YouTube, but I simply didn't have a chance until recently. And I'm very glad I invested in these pencils. So I hope you liked this video. If you haven't seen my video from last week about my unboxing and first impressions of these pencils, check that out. Otherwise, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment down below. Please subscribe to my channel for more videos. I put out a new art video every single week. I can be found on Instagram and Facebook at Brushes with Beck, so follow me over there as well. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next week for another video. Bye!